Week 10 of the NFL is in the book, so I'm here to give you my power rankings and predictions for Week 11 in the NFL. What's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, go and bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content as always. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. Special thanks to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring the video. We'll get to them later, but let's go ahead and get into my bottom of the list, starting with the Houston Texans. They're a feisty team, but we know ultimately not a lot of talent, not a lot of depth on this squad. They're not going to win very many games. So yes, here they are, only one win on the season. So yeah, I mean, they stuck around in that game against the Giants, but at the end of the day, man, this is a team that's likely going to be picking first. I don't know. Maybe the Raiders have something to say about that. However, I do have the Panthers next because I think the Raiders are able, not necessarily to turn it around. I don't think they're going to be vying for the playoffs in the NFC. But I think they can at least turn around to an extent where it's like, man, maybe this is a 5, maybe even 6 win team. At least Josh McDaniels needs to turn something around. If he wants only Derek Carr to be the only scapegoat there. But the Panthers ultimately, man, this is a team that's really, their 3 wins aren't all that impressive, like with the Bucks one being probably the most impressive. And it was against a Bucks team that's just kind of lost their direction and just yeah, you're basically dealing with the Bucks team with an identity crisis and Tom Brady going through a divorce. But their other wins, the Saints, who are pretty close on this list, and then the Falcons, who lack that spark on offense that could maybe be remedied by throwing your rookie quarterback out there. I don't know. We'll talk about that in a sec, but ultimately this Panthers team, like offensively, there's no real stability at quarterback. There really isn't. You're probably going to be moving on and hopefully getting a quarterback somewhere in the off season. The defense, occasionally it will play well. They definitely have the capability to play like a top half of the NFL type of defense. It's just, when your offense ain't really doing much for you, it's kind of hard to continually go out there and perform well. But ultimately, I think the Panthers, I got them here at 31. I mean, if the Raiders just end up really sucking the rest of the year, I'll just switch them. But what an unimpressive, oh my gosh, you lost to first-time head coach, no NFL or collegiate experience in terms of being a coach, fresh new play caller, the nice young starter Matt Ryan. You lost to a bad Colts team, and I think I said this last week in the same video where I was like, Raiders, you lose this game, you're just a joke. And at this point, it's kind of true. Like, you even saw after the end of the game, man, Derek Carr just like you basically saw a man that knows this is the end of the road for him in Las Vegas. Quite frankly, could be looking at the team he's going to play for next year with the Indianapolis Colts. But yeah, so right now at this point, it's like Josh McDaniels, if this coaching staff wants to be retained, because like honestly, you really like they came into this season with real like playoff aspirations, and you are falling far short of that. There's no continuity on offense. It's so hit or miss. The defense has been very lackluster. Like you might want to blow it up and be like, all right, let's just go ahead and start a rebuild now, especially if you're likely going to bring a quarterback from the draft on board, if you're going to be drafted in position for one. So I don't know. I think Josh McDaniels knows what's on the line. There is this thing where it's like, oh, good offensive genius, not so great head coach. So he's gonna want to turn. He's gonna want to turn that. He's gonna want to get people like, no, I legitimate I could legitimately be a head coach. So I don't know. We'll see. We know his tenure with the Broncos didn't go all so well. So much so, like, you know, he ran back to the Patriots. And this one's not going so hot either. Saints. Dude, what the heck, man. I mean, I guess finally they got the ground game going. To be fair, it's not like I said they got the ground game going. They were able to enable the Steelers to get the ground game going. This pass rush is just poor. I don't know why Andy Dalton is still starting. I think he was responsible for 4 turnovers Sunday. Like, I don't know what's the deal with Jameis Winston. Like, and you traded away a first round pick. Like, no first round pick for you this year. Like, Saints, like, what's up? What are you doing? Like, put Jameis back in, and I don't know, see if you can salvage this season. Because to be fair, the NFC, it's quite like plausible that you can get in with potentially a sub 500 record. I really do believe that, but at this point, you're already like 2 games behind the 8 ball if you're gonna try to vie for a wild card spot. Let me just go fact check that at the current moment. I know the words came out my mouth, but I kind of want to see the actual playoff settings. Like, okay, like 2.5 games out. Like, Saints are technically 2.5 games out. With the 7th seed being the 49ers at 5-4. But I mean, right behind them is the Washington Commanders. Like, by no means is it over. You need to get hot, and obviously some things need to change. So if you're going to spark that, then you better make these changes now. On to the Detroit Lions. Big win, man. They were able to get over a defense that basically gutted themselves to grab draft capital. And as we know, Detroit's defense, not all that great. And to be fair, the offense, it was all right in this game. I know they put up a lot of points. And to be fair, like, this was coming from behind, trailing. I know a lot of people be like, oh, they beat the Bears. They should be higher than the Bears. I don't know, man. I think the Bears have something special right now in Justin Fields and what he's able to do. So I just tend to think they're currently maybe the better squad, in particularly at the quarterback position. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see more Detroit. Good win for them, but still they're this bottom 8 team. Jacksonville Jaguars honestly didn't look all that bad against Kansas City Chiefs. They came out the game swinging, knew that, hey, this is a game we are 2-score underdogs in. This one was in, it was in KC, so it's on the road. So you know you're gonna have to do some there's gonna be tricks involved. We saw that with the onside kick early on. Trevor Lawrence, I thought, looked reasonably good this game. Freaking Andre Sisco is a hit stick monster. Like, that hit on Juju, probably should have been a penalty, but golly, dude. To be fair, Cisco's playing good football this year. Like, there's a lot of positives for this Jags team. Just they really need to put it all together. Offensively, they need to also take advantage of when things go right, like the onside kick and such. Cleveland Browns, man. They got mollywopped by the Miami Dolphins. Were unable to do anything to stop them offensively, and that's just going to be tough when you're coming from behind in that way. This was a team probably hoping to get Deshaun Watson back with some sort of opportunity at the playoffs, and in the AFC, that's going to be way hard. To be fair, they're two games out at the moment for the 7th seed. So not a bad situation, but it's like your next 2 games are against the Bucks and the Bills. Maybe the best case, and this is before Deshaun Watson comes back. I think best case scenario, I don't think they win both those games. I have a hard time believing they might win one of those games, but let's say they do. They're going. You're going in 4-7. You get Deshaun back, or you get to see Deshaun, and it's like this is his first time playing, like, for his team. This will be his debut in terms of the regular season for the Cleveland Browns. So it's like I feel like that's a lot. So Browns team, they might end up maybe as like a potentially a top 20 team by the end of the year. Maybe more likely like top 25. But playoffs, I think you're kind of reaching at that point. Steelers, good win. They got the run game going, to be fair. This was against the Saints team that was in all kinds of disarray. When you're looking at TJ Watt returning, which just enables Alex Highsmith to play his best football. Like that's a cat that's like, he's all right by himself, but it's not like he's great, you know? Like, you look at it in 2 games with Watt, he has like 10 pressures, 5 sacks. And then you look at 7 games without Watt, 20 pressures and 3 sacks. So it's like, yeah, Watt makes a difference. It would for any situation, but this is a guy that can't get it done necessarily consistently by himself if he doesn't have help around him, which is fair, you know. Not everyone can be a one-man team, you know. But with Watt back, that defense looked much better. Will that stand the test of time? I don't know. We'll see. This squad is currently 2 games out as well, so they're there with the Browns, 2 games out of the playoffs. Unfortunately, they play in a tough division where I don't think they can really make up too much ground on the Bengals or the Ravens, but I don't know. We'll see. On to the Chicago Bears. Listen, Justin Fields, they're out there just letting him do his thing. He is a special talent with his feet. He really is, obviously. Just letting him loose and just doing his thing. It enables like guys like Cole Kmet, who's finally turning it on. It enables him. And just to, like, I get it. He obviously he can come away. There's a ways for him to go in terms of being a like passer. Like, you still saw some ugly throws for him, not necessarily ugly in terms of how the throw looked, but ugly decisions. Though we do know this is a cat that, you know, back in college when he was allowed time in the pocket, he was able to get it done. So as that team gets better, I imagine he gets better in that regard. That's like kind of the difference between a lot of these guys, like these. Oh, they're guys that can win with their feet, but when they need to win with their arm, it's kind of like, not really. Like, I fully expect, like, Hurts could be a guy that could take Fields is a guy that could take that next year jump, like a Jalen Hurts. So, something to watch out for. I'm actually excited for the Bears moving forward. Now you enter free agency next year knowing you have your quarterback. There's some good pieces to work with, and you could really like address a lot of needs, and then go on in the draft and be like, hey, we just taking best players on the board because we just want to get good players. The Rams, it was kind of listen, that Rams Cardinals game, you had 2 backups throwing haymakers at one another. You almost had the backups to the backups in the game there because of a few potential injuries that were narrowly avoided. So there was not much we were going to learn from that game. At the end of the day, like, one of these teams were just going to bury themselves or dig themselves a bigger grave. That happened to be the Rams. The Rams offensive line is terrible. That Brian Allen contract extension suddenly doesn't look so great after he came off a career year on a contract year, and then suddenly it's like, crap. No Boom, of course, before the injury, he hasn't played for a few weeks now. Wasn't playing particularly well. This offensive line is just playing really bad football. Cooper Kupp's now going to be out for a couple weeks, so it's not like Matthew Stafford comes back. Maybe they could get something lit on offense. Even before that, before Stafford went down, it's like this offense is just terrible, and everything ran through Cooper Kupp. And now that he's going to IR, he's gone for 4 weeks. I don't think there's much to salvage for the Rams, unfortunately. Denver Broncos, kind of feeling the same boat. They're not necessarily dead. They are technically only two games out of the wild card spot. So they need to change a lot of things around. It's just this offense. It doesn't look like it's going to happen for them. They can't turn the corner. Looks like this Hackett-Wilson thing may not work out. And who's going to go in that scenario? It ain't going to be the quarterback you invested all this draft capital in and all this money in. So I don't know, man. I don't know what's gonna go on there, and it really sucks because this is definitely one of the best defenses in all of football right now. The Denver Broncos. I mean, if you look in terms of points allowed, where are they at? They're 149, which is best in the AFC, and is that best in the NFL as well? It's best in the NFL. Their points allowed. It's like this is like, shoot, man. Let's do the math real quick. 149. They've played all of 9 games. Let me whip out my fancy calculator. So 149 divided by 9. So they're like allowing a little over 16 points a game. Let's say 17. Let's round up. Unfortunately, the offense can't score that much. Like, this sucks for this defense. This is a really good defense, and a big reason why I have them in front of the Rams. And then we got the Colts. Do I think they've turned things around? Absolutely not. Though they have shown life. I love the move back to Matt Ryan. You weren't going to get a Noah Sam Ellinger, unless you were kind of hoping just to tank. But at this point, it's like, I don't know. You're really gonna do that? Like, you're really gonna like let your team take that morale hit? I don't think so. But yeah, to be fair, this is a win against the Raiders and Josh McDaniels, who haven't looked good all year. So take it with a grain of salt. There isn't a good chance that they're gonna win the AFC South if they're gonna get in, because they've already lost to the Titans twice. So if they're gonna get in, it's gonna have to be through the wild card. So good luck, Godspeed. And they are now 4-5-1, correct? 4-5-1. Oh boy. Then the Falcons. I felt like dropping them further on this list after a abysmal performance against the Panthers. However, I think I mentioned this earlier. I think you could kind of remedy this by, I don't know, go ahead, see what you have in Desmond Ridder. Marcus Mariota ain't getting it done. Obviously, offensively, they've been exceptionally stagnant the past few weeks. You're a team that wants to run the ball successfully and a lot, so that's a good situation for you to bring in your rookie quarterback. The offensive line's been playing particularly well. Just throw him in there, see what you have in him at the very least, and decide maybe if he's a guy you want to move forward with, if you see enough, and maybe he could be a spark to get this team back. They're just a game behind the Bucs in the NFC South. So this isn't over. You just need that spark. And to be fair, this defense, while not impressive, are playing good enough football. They really are. So that's what I'm saying. Arizona Cardinals again, Kyler Murray. He was out for the Rams game. Not much we could pull from that. They ended up getting the win. That's great. They're still currently, I think, 2 games out of the out of first place in the NFC West. They took a big blow in terms of Zach Ertz going down for the season. So I guess we'll see maybe more Trey McBride, who they used a second-round pick on. Hopefully this team gets healthier and healthier. The defense, not even overachieving, like by the minimalist. Like, this is a defense that still gives up a ton. So don't be fooled at what they've given up 258 points on the season, which is among the highest It's second highest in the NFC and second highest in the NFL. Yeah. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? But yeah, like obviously, like there's deficiencies with the pass rush. There's not a lot of talent at the corner position, and they need more competition. Offensively, this is a team that can score a lot of points. Also, thing to note, Benjamin getting released just yesterday, so looks like was it Keontae Ingram will step in as the running back too, because I think Darrell Williams is still banged up. So a lot of interesting things happen in Arizona, but there's a lot they need to do to turn around. Speaking of turn around, stinking the Packers. Wow, I'm not saying they turned around absolutely, but I like that they leaned more with the run game. The defense, while giving up a lot, they still were able to come away with big plays. And this isn't a Christian Watson coming out party. However, how they used him, I think, was to the best. Because you saw this guy inside on a lot of trip sets, which enabled him in the run game. Because he's a very good run blocker. At his size, who would have thought? But now they're using him on a ton of crossers. And because we know his ball skills are a bit meh. And had 2 drops in this game, if you didn't know, but had the 3 touchdowns on the 4 receptions. So did Aaron Rodgers probably find a guy that he could maybe rely on? Maybe not necessarily, but at least he found a guy that, okay, I could go to this guy for the big play. And you know what? He won't always come down with it, but when you take shots like that, there's a lot of rewards to be had. And as we saw in this game, as they were able to fight back from 14 down to come back and win it. So is this a sign of things to come for the Packers? Maybe. I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith. However, Washington Commanders, man, you're like, what? They only move up 1 spot for beating the only undefeated team left in the NFL? It's like, well, it was a division game. Division teams tend to play each other exceptionally tough. I love Taylor Heineke. This guy has got all the pizzazz, all the moxie in the world. Is he a starter quarterback? I don't think so, but I think he's definitely a high-end backup who may not have the physical tools, but he's got the grittiness you love from a player, a guy that's like, he's gonna sling the ball wherever the heck he feels like. Oh, double coverage. You know what? I trust Terry McLaurin enough to be like, I don't care. Go get him, scary Terry. And he does. So, and I mean, hey, they like sticking to the run game. Defense played a solid game. They were able to create turnovers, and guess what? They just activated Chase Young. So this is a team on the up and up. I think currently they are the 8th seed, which, if you didn't know, means they're on the outside looking in. They are. So technically, they still got a bye coming up, and I mean, technically, they're only a half game out. So very possible this is a team that could maybe make a push for a playoff, which is kind of crazy. Don't expect Carson Wentz to start another game this year, unless Heineke somehow gets hurt. And then on to the best half of the NFL with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah, you're looking at it right. I didn't make any changes because I feel like these middle-end squads, I feel like it's about right. None of them's impressed me that much, to be fair. A lot of the buys this previous week kind of fell into this category, as it was the Bengals, the Patriots, the Jets, and then the Ravens, who you don't see here because they're going to be a top 8 team. So 3 of these 8 teams were on a bye. Bucks were able to get it done against a good Seahawks team. They were able to stop the run. It was nice to see the run defense show back up. And I mean, ultimately, they were in control for almost all that whole game. The Seahawks tried to spark a little bit of a comeback, but wasn't meant to be. When you got Tom Brady, like I really felt like the only team I was going to move up here would be the Bucks. But I'm going to sit here with them at 16, and let's wait to see maybe another game. because it's not like they were all that impressive, especially offensively. Maybe they start making the move to Rashad White, who had a phenomenal game. Patriots, they were on the bye. We'll see them this week against, is it the Jets? I believe they face the Jets this week. Yeah, so they come into a team they already smacked. Speaking of which, here's the Jets. You're playing this one at MetLife against the Patriots, coming off a bye. Both teams coming off a bye. So we'll see. Like, the only thing holding this team back is Zach Wilson. Oh, he's pretty good when not under pressure. Yeah, but when he is under pressure, he is a detriment to the team. He really is. It's not even like feast or famine. It's just like, can he do enough and make as few mistakes as possible? Because we're not expecting anything big right now from Zach Wilson. So I don't know. We'll see. Chargers. They actually had a really good outing. Remember, this is a team ravaged by injuries, and made it, for all intents and purposes, an exceptionally close game against the San Francisco 49ers. Herbert's playing good football. However, you do worry, can this team get healthy? Because I think J.C. Jackson's already out for the year. I don't know if Joey Bosa will come back right now. Keenan Allen's been week to week for like 3 weeks now. Mike Williams, I do believe, went to the IR, so he's got like 2 more weeks on there, I believe. So I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully the Chargers can get healthy. But they played a competitive football game there, and it was nice to see some guys like DeAndre Carter like come alive for the squad when they needed it. The Giants, listen, man, it's not exactly it. They're for the most part, they were in control of that Houston game. So that 8 points win looks a lot closer than it actually was. But at the end of the day, Daniel Jones, average depth of target, 5 yards. That was the worst this past week in the NFL. He's a guy that's dumping it off and expecting his guys to get it done. And hey, man, lucky they were able to lean on the run game. Saquon had over 150 rushing yards in this game. For all intents and purposes, like, Daniel Jones is a quarterback that the game plan is, don't hurt your squad. Don't hurt your squad. Get it to your playmakers. Let them do the damage. So, like, I don't get y'all Daniel truthers out there. I really don't. He's playing smart football, but I bet you, man, when this team get them in a close game against one of these better squads, and you might be like, well, they've done that against teams like the Ravens and such. I don't know. I think it might be a different story in the second half of the season. I'm pretty sure they have a pretty squishy schedule, though. Take a look at the remainder of the schedule. Like, I don't think this is a team that can compete with, like, the Eagles. Though, I mean, Washington maybe proved otherwise. Yeah, I mean, look at the rest of the season. Honestly, their biggest games are in division, and then outside of that, against the Vikings. Like, they have the Colts, and that's it. The rest are all division games. So I don't know. We'll see. I got my questions about this squad. I really do. Defense, though, played pretty well. Was it Dalvin Tomlinson? No. Dexter Lawrence. I said Dalvin Tomlinson. He's not on the Giants anymore. What am I thinking? Dexter Lawrence, big game on the interior, man. Dude was a monster. All right, we got San Francisco 49ers, big win. They are 5-4 now. They are the current 7th seed in the NFC West. They are a half game technically behind the Seahawks. And last time they faced the Seahawks, it wasn't the Seahawks we know today. That Seahawks team was not that good in week 2. So it might be a different story when they face off against one another again. But the run game has been solid. Elijah Mitchell looked really good. Uh, Again, this is a team that has a lot of guys. Once you get the ball in their hands, they can create some special things. Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel. No, Ayuk had the bad drop late in the game. Fortunately, didn't come back to bite him in the butt. The defense playing good football. Pass rush is scary. Good for them. Seahawks, they did take the L this week, but I just keep coming more and more impressed with this squad. Especially like defensively, man. Like that secondary is playing such good football. They really are. Like Tyreek Woolen's a freaking monster. If you didn't know, now you know. Like athletic freak, had the big pick. Let's look at this defense specifically from this week. Oh, I guess I have to look at the game. Because I'm kind of curious. I feel like a lot of their pressure did not come from the outside this past week. Yeah, like Al Woods was the lead getter in pressure at 3. Like the only pressure they were getting was on the inside. Yeah, that wow, that was about it. Yeah, like I mean, to be fair, like the Bucks were weird, man. They were like you could say they were run heavy, but also at the same time, like they were running wildcat stuff, which kind of led to the turnover when you had the Fournette interception. But yeah, I don't know. People were trying to talk up these edge guys for the Seahawks, and it's like, okay, when they went and had to face Tristan Wirfs and who's the other cat? Donovan Wilson, right? Or Donovan Smith. Yeah, like they weren't able to do anything. They really weren't. So yeah, still the right guard or the left guard spot for the Bucks seems to be problematic, but kind of is what it is at this point. But honestly, Seahawks, a team that I do think they need some life there at the pass rusher position. But the secondary played a really good game. So I don't think they lost anything in defeat outside of the game. Bengals, I thought Bengals had the off week, right? Yes, they did. All right, so this will be interesting. Does Jamar Chase come back? It's kind of the big question. They got who do they face? They got Steelers this week. It's kind of a must-win for the Steelers, trying to get back into that playoff hunt. Kind of a long shot, I think, at that point, but we'll see. Like we saw the Bengals, like kind of like implode with their first game without Chase against the Browns, where Browns just mollywopped them. However, I mean, they were able to rebound against the Panthers team. That's the Panthers. We'll see how they do against Steelers here. On to the top 8, Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, they ate the loss. I still think they looked good in defeat to the Packers. There were a bunch of coverage busts by the Cowboys defensively, but offensively, I think they looked solid, dude. Like, Tony Pollard's just it at running back, man. He really is. It would be nice if they had like more reliable weapons in the passing game, outside of like CeeDee Lamb and I guess Dalton Schultz. Michael Gallup, I know, still kind of returning, but I thought Dak played a really good game. People are gonna look at 2 picks and be like, but like, I think there's a case to be made that neither were his fault. I really do. At least you could at least make the case for one of them. So it is what it is. I still think this is a very good Dallas team. They're a wild card team. They really are. Tennessee Titans. They do enough to get the job done. Just keep betting the under when it comes to the Titans, and you'll never go wrong. Like offensively, they know that the defense got so much pressure. Like Danico Autry had a heck of a game. Rashad Evans? Weaver, there we go, had a heck of a game. This team's getting a lot of pressure, and it's allowing, honestly, this kind of interesting secondary. They're kind of like piecing things together because they had like Terrence Mitchell out there. And such, and like it allows them to make plays. The offense, even not being able to get Derrick Henry going, this team sticks around long enough, they're gonna hit the big play. They were able to get oh my gosh, Westbrook, former Indiana receiver. I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now. Get him going in this game. So yeah, good on the Titans, man. I think they're a solid squad. However, this top 6, I think, are the best of the best. Baltimore Ravens. They also had the bye this week. They'll be coming out of the bye to face. I have no idea. Oh, the Panthers. All right, perfect. So they only drop a spot because I went ahead and bumped my Dolphins up quite a bit, but yeah, like Lamar, man, he's such a threat with his legs. It's not like they're going to be able to get healthier in the playmaker department. I don't know if like J.K. Dobbins will bounce back. However, Kenyon Drake, Gus Edwards, they're kind of reliable. Rashad Bateman's out for the year, but you will get Mark Andrews back eventually. Isaiah Likely has looked all right. I know the Saints game, it was one play for him and that's it. Outside of that, he had a few bad drops. But they got some other playmakers there. They just added Deshaun Jackson about 2 weeks ago. So it's like, it's Lamar Jackson, man. He's one of the toughest like weapons to have to account for. He's just tough for play callers. And then defense, honestly, so like with Smith there, like this is a defense that's going to be getting good down the stretch. Buffalo Bills, 8th bad loss. My biggest concern is it's Josh Allen, man. The turnover-worthy plays are out the wazoo. He's making throws that he shouldn't be making, like in terms of like just decision making. It's just not good. It's just bad. We're looking at 2018 Josh Allen again. So it's like, he need to clean up in that regard. But I mean, he makes enough big plays to keep his team in it. We know that secondary hopefully will get healthier once Tre'Davious White returns. That would be huge for this squad. Keep in mind that Vikings game, they were missing quite a bit of pieces, like no White, they had no Gregory Rousseau and such. But yeah, like the Bills, they have weapons. Josh Allen's capable to be this just big playmaking machine, and with what he can do athletically, he's just always going to keep his team in the game. He just needs to clean up those decision making, man. I think he leads the NFL in turnover-worthy plays, and you can't even blame this game on the wrist. Apparently, the wrist, it should be fine. He's just going to be fighting through some pain throughout the year, but it should affect, for the most part, how he throws. So that's good to hear. But like, I'm still, I felt bad even dropping him to 5 this week. But I feel like Dolphins now are the AFC East leaders. And with the loss of the Vikings, I feel like I couldn't justify them over those two teams as of right now. And also, if you didn't know, Dolphins do have the win over the Bills. Speaking of which, here the Dolphins have 4. Listen, when Tua has started and finished a game, they are undefeated. They're a different animal with Tua behind the helm. Like he is like the Chris Paul of this team. He just can distribute the ball anywhere, and he has like the most insane playmakers in the world. And the guy in the form of Waddle, Tyreek Hill, you got Mike Gesicki, and now Jeff Wilson, Raheem Mostert. This team has speed for days, and the offensive line is playing good football. Brandon Shell coming in. Their right tackle looking good. I believe Robert Jones filling in at left guard. He was a guy that they picked up as, I believe, a UDFA a few years ago out of Middle Tennessee State. And I love the tools on that guy. I loved him back then. And they signed him to the practice squad. They've been developing this guy, and he's looked good. This offensive line has has looked much better in recent weeks. Dolphins, watch out. They're scary. Minnesota Vikings, good win. Listen, Kirk Cousins didn't have his best outing, but when they needed him most, he came through. To be fair, that Bills game was kind of fluky in some regards, like with the Josh Allen fumble for a touchdown. Kind of weird. But like, this Vikings team is so scary. So scary. The offensive line's playing good football, though there were some deficiencies in this game. Overall, this is an offensive line playing very good. Dalvin Cook is a nightmare. This guy is the fastest guy on the field at any given moment. Justin Jefferson's a monster. TJ Hawkinson has acclimated himself to this offense very nicely. Vikings are scary. They got a great pass rushing duo. Donald Tomlinson's solid in the middle there. I think even is it Harrison Phillips? I always want to say Jordan Phillips, but that's another guy. That's a different story. Harrison Phillips, right? So many names. Harrison Phillips freaking had a monster game. Really did. You love to see it. So, like, yeah, like, Dalvin Tomlinson didn't even play this game. So, there you go, man. You love to see it, man. This team played really good. Patrick Peterson had, 2 picks in the game? Yeah, 2 picks, included, like, I guess the one in the red zone against Josh Allen. Though I don't think that was a bad play on Josh Allen's part. It was, like, 4th down and such, but... yeah, no, Vikings, this is a team to be feared, man. I don't want to say, I guess I've not completely turned the corner. I'm still waiting for them to let me down, but yeah, no, this is a Vikings team to definitely be excited for. I think they're legit contenders at this point. They really are. Kansas City Chiefs, they went in, got things done despite the Jacksonville tricks. You just can't stop Patrick Mahomes. This cat is just freaking wonderful, even when the defense isn't playing all that well, which it has in recent weeks. But they were able to get the ground game going a little bit, which is nice to see. But it's Patrick Mahomes. This is a very good Chiefs team. Eagles, they stay at first place despite the loss. If anything, we saw in this game that, because I think this was something everyone was kind of saying, the Eagles don't lose games. Like, if you're going to come in and beat the Eagles, you're going to have to do it mistake-free and just win the ball game. The Eagles aren't going to offer you a lot of chances. They're not going to lose the ball game. And that's kind of what they did against the Commanders. The turnovers were huge for this squad, and they just weren't able to clap back once the second half started. They got outplayed. They really did. So much so, like at halftime, the Eagles were booed into the locker room. I'm sure they were after the game as well. So, I guess the biggest takeaway you could come from with this game is the run defense sucks. Jordan Davis, miss you, come back soon, and God can bleed. I guess if you were to look at the Eagles. AJ Brown kind of had a frustrating game. I think there was a time where he was a little beat up too. But I don't think that really played a big role in things because, I mean, they were still facilitating the ball to other playmakers. But let's go ahead, get into my predictions for Week 11. But, of course, this is sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. If you love weekly fantasy football or pick'ems or player prop bets, Underdog Fantasy has all that and more. And it's not just the NFL. So if you want to go ahead and use promo code Broshmo when you sign up, they hook you up a little bit to start you off, and it helps the channel out a ton. So check that out. Let's go ahead and get into this with Thursday night being Tennessee Titans versus the Packers. First and foremost, I'm going to take the under in this game at 42. I think that's pretty smart. Also, if you're looking at my record, rough week last week. There was a lot of, I thought, for the most part, there were some surprises last week. There really were. Also, I kind of scrubbed the Cardinals Rams game since what we got late that neither starting quarterback were playing. But you want to say, you see the Packers coming in, 3-point favorites. It's in Lambeau. But this is the type of game the Titans, I think, will relish in. What, the high is going to be 31? Holy moly. So I'm willing to take the Titans +3. I like that. I like the take of the Titans here, +3. I'm hoping it's going to be Derrick Henry weather. So we'll see. This is a Titans team that's just been getting it done. They really have. All right, on to the Chicago Bears versus the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta Falcons are the favorites by 3 points. Over-under's 50. I'm going with the over in that game. Yeah, I'm feeling froggy this week. So we'll see. I feel like I have to bounce back after such a poor performance. Didn't bet on anything this past week, though. Just been too busy. Too busy. I will this week, though. I'm going to have some fun. I'm going to take the over at 50. I'm going to take the Bears, 3.5. Be like, whoa, they just lost to the Detroit Lions. The Falcons just lost to the Panthers. I don't care. Justin Fields is a tough freaking weapon, dude. He really is. He really is. And I'm willing to bet on one in this game. Honestly, Bears games have been fun to watch now. On to the Browns versus the Bills. Despite the loss, I'm not betting the Browns. I'm not taking Browns +8. Just give me the Bills. Give me them on the money line. Over-under's 43. Bills feel like they could go over on that, especially against this Browns defense. That's not all that impressive. On to the Eagles versus the Colts. Eagles enter 6.5-point favorites. That sounds right. Oh, I don't know, man. The only undefeated coach left in football. It's Jeff Saturday. Can he get it done? Can he keep it going? I don't think so. I really don't. I will take the Eagles, just the money line here. 6.5 feels like a bit much, especially after kind of like the performance we just saw at home to the Commanders. So I think it's just safer to take them on the money line. Over-under is 45. I don't think you could ever trust the Colts to hit that, especially against this Eagles defense. 45 is an interesting number, though. Like, Eagles could win by 2 scores. In that case, I mean, you would maybe take the Eagles +6.5, but 6.5 is a lot. I don't want to play with that. I would lean the over, but not in love with it. All right, we have the Jets versus the Patriots. This one is in Foxborough. The Patriots last time traveled to MetLife. They sat Zach Wilson over their knee and spanked him. That's what happened. It's really what happened. I don't know. Maybe there's some foxy ladies, maybe some cougars up in Foxborough. So maybe that'll get Zach Wilson and his jollies going, and he comes into this game ready to perform. I'm still taking Patriots. Just give me them on the money line. You take the under in this game. These are two really good defenses with offenses that are kind of like So yeah, we're gonna stick with the Patriots. Though 3.5 is a bit interesting, but this is at home for the Patriots. All right, Rams versus Saints. These are two very bad teams. Who wins out? There's so many questions to be had. No Cooper Kupp, but you get Stafford back. Does Jameis Winston finally take the reins here? Honestly, I want no part of this game. I want no action in this game. I don't know how to call this game, so I'm not even going to contemplate what to do with this game. Yeah, don't touch this game. All right, we got the Giants versus the Lions. Giants enter 3-point favorites. Do I feel froggy and want to take the Lions at 3? I don't. Just give me the Giants on the money line. Over-under is 46. The Giants are best known for hitting the unders, though I think they did hit the over this past week. Not positive. I think it was 39.5 and they hit 40. Maybe? I don't know. But regardless, I'm taking the under. I'm taking the Giants on the money line. Baltimore Ravens versus the Carolina Panthers. 12. That's a lot of points. I don't want to take that. Just give me the Ravens. Over-under is 43.5. So, okay, quick question. What did the Saints-Ravens game go? They went to 40. Oh. Let's take the under. Let's take the under of that game. Because you look at okay, so the Ravens Saints game total was 40. You look at the Panthers Atlanta game total 40. So maybe they just hit 40 this week. So yeah, we'll go with the under. Commanders versus the Texans. Ooh, Texans, man. They're a frisky team. I think they could cover like a multiple score spread. I don't think they're covering this one though. With it only being 3 points. Just give me Washington, dude. Just give me Washington. I'm feeling good about Washington, man. Taylor Heineke, let's go. Over-under's 40.5. That's right on the dot. That really is. It's right on the dot of where it needs to be. Let's lean the over. Ultimately, though, I won't touch it. I think that's right on the money. We got the Raiders versus the Broncos. Must win, quite frankly, for both teams. However, I think the Broncos are going to need it more. They're going to want it more. Give me Broncos. I think I might take 2.5. I think I'll take them Broncos 2.5. Over-under is 41.5. I'm going with the under, dude. It's the Broncos. If they win this game, it's going to be like 16-10. Might be more than that, man. I think maybe the Broncos put up like 23 points, maybe. Perhaps. It's just the Raiders aren't gonna. I just don't expect them to win this game. Then again, they're in desperation mode. I don't know. We'll see. Dallas Cowboys come in as the 1-point favorite over the Vikings. So essentially, this is a pick'em game. If anything, Vikings, you're coming off a big win against the Bills. So maybe this is the letdown week, perhaps. I think there's a good chance that this could be a big letdown week against the Cowboys. Over-under is 47.5. I feel good about taking the over. And it's really a pick'em game. Do you pick the Cowboys to upset? They are the 1-point favorites. Maybe you just take Vikings and the points. But I mean, at what point do you care about 1 point? It's essentially just a pick 'em. So I'll ride with the Vikings, dude. Skull. All right, we got the Bengals versus Steelers. Bengals only 4.5-point favorites. I think that's fair. Give me Bengals on the money line. Over under is 41. I feel like that one's another one that's pretty on the money, but I'll go with the over. Then we got the Sunday night game, Chiefs versus Chargers. Chiefs 7-point favorites. Just give me the Chiefs on the money line. 7 points sound about right though. Last time this team did hit the over, and I think it was at like 55 or something. This time's at 50. I think they could hit the over in this game with how beat up the Chiefs defense is and how mediocre, like very mediocre, the Chiefs defense is. How beat up the Chargers defense is, how mediocre the Chiefs defense is. There we go. Then we have oh man, what a Monday night banger. Cardinals versus Niners. Niners enter 8-point favorites. Makes me want to take the Cardinals at +8, but I just don't trust the Cardinals. I really don't. Give me the Niners money line. Over-under is 43.5. I think last time these teams faced, it was 42 points. Where is it at? Where is it at? Oh, yeah. Oh no, this is their first time facing. Okay. Interesting. I was thinking of the other Rams game. Or I was thinking of the one of the Cardinals games was 26-16. I don't know. It's irrelevant at this point. Just give me the Niners on the money line. Over under is 43.5. Tempted to just take the under here with how good the defense is playing for the Niners, though they do have a few big hits at the corner position in terms of injury. But that's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing. It's always much appreciated, much obliged. And as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.